Thank you very much. That was a short commercial break. After having had a very good discussion with the DCI volleyball queens with us in studio, who were part of the playoffs. They finished in the 4th position from a rankings point, but later on, when they went for the playoffs, they finished in the 2nd position, losing in the final to Kenya Pipeline. Remember, they are proceeding on to play in the Kenya Cup, where they are in the quarterfinals at the moment, paired with the Kenya Defence Forces. That will be happening on the 5th of next month. Then after that, we'll see how the pairings go. Should they cross that bridge of the quarterfinal, then they take on Kenya Pipeline. After that, if they make it to the final, they will be meeting the winner between Prisons and KCB. What a moment to be a member of the DCI Volleyball Queens, because seems like everything is going their direction. We now shift gears and move from matters volleyball and go into matters basketball. Basketball, a very popular game in the country, and of course, young university students love it so much. But there is a new twist to it with the emergence of the 3x3, very popular version of basketball in the country. It's like the sevens in rugby, where we've seen all the rugby action shifting from the 15s to the 7s, with the 7s being, the very popular team at the moment, Shujaa. At the moment, we have Moran in Mauritius, where they are playing in the Africa 7s. Let's shift now, focus and look at matters, not rugby, but basketball. We are joined by a team in studio who will be letting us know more about 3x3. Remember, the national team was in Benin just back. We'll find out how was it all about and what can we look forward to in terms of popularizing the sport and making Kenya a force to reckon with in the future. In the years, we've seen a very good 3x3 team went in for the Commonwealth Games, a very good performance, and it looks like since then they've been building on a base. Let's introduce the guests with us this afternoon, and I'll start with my farthest left, where we are joined by Mr. Tony Ochieng from Strathmore, also the national under-23 3x3 coach with us in studio. Tony, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
We'll be engaging more shortly. Then next to Tony, we have Margaret Nerea Opondo, from Strathmore, very seasoned 3x3 player, member of the Lionesses team, captain under-23, also with Strathmore. You're looking at her CV, you'd ask yourself, what else is still left out on this very strong CV from a basketball point. Margaret, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Last but not least, we have the Iron Lady, the lady who makes things move. Somebody I've known for quite some time. Right from the yesteryears when we had Sprite Storms, she's been out there and always kept encouraging me to get into matters basketball. But with the sausage finger, I told her, no, I'm not doing this anymore. But she kept encouraging me to get to basketball. We are talking about Angela Luchivia, the Secretary General, Kenya Basketball Federation, a lady I've known for quite some time in other circles as well. Angie, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please don't use the name you normally use when you're referring.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Angie, and nice having you in studio as well. First of all, Angie, as the Secretary General, Kenya Basketball Federation, I know it's not something we'd want to talk about for now, but how painful was it for you guys to lose, Mr. Paul Otula? May his soul rest in peace.
For us, that was quite unexpected, first of all, and especially for us in the executive and somebody like me who was talking to him every day. Practically every other day. So it's been quite a sad moment for us, and we're still trying to come to terms with the fact that he's not around, he's not with us. But much as we might say life has to move on, his shoes are very big to step into. And he was that icon figure in basketball. So we've really got to think about some of the moments that we had, good memories, but we're building from that and trying to see how we can just leave a legacy as huge as he did in basketball.
Very sad indeed, and we still say may his soul rest in peace. That's Paul Otula, who was the head of Basketball Federation in the country. Let's now move to matters, 3x3. Tony, head coach under 23, just back from Benin. How was it like for you?
It was a good experience. We managed to take 2 teams, that is both men and women. The ladies had a fantastic outing. They finished 4th, very impressive. Player performance ratings were very good. For the men, also the outing was good. We managed to put our best performance. We had some very good individual scoring charts. Yes.
And still with you as coach, before I engage Margaret, what's the difference between 3x3 and the normal basketball, apart from just the numerical numbers that one would look at, that this is 3 players as opposed to the other? There must be other dynamics that make the game very interesting.
It's very unique. It's played on half court, 4 players, but 3 on the pitch. You have to score within 12 seconds. Again, some dynamic changes in terms of foul trouble. If you're on 5 fouls, if you're on 7 fouls, if you are 9 fouls. So it's a unique situation. But above all, it's a game that you have to make your own decision, because there is no coaching at all. The players have to make their own decision to play.
No coaching at all, and still with SG, before I come to Margaret. Angie, half court, no coaching, everything is with the playing unit, and you have to make very quick decisions, and time also. Whoever reaches, a certain, it's very dynamic.
Yes.
For Kenya Basketball Federation, is it something that you want to, is it a game that you want to focus on, because it's gaining popularity like a bushfire?
I think the question should be whether we have been focusing on it, because we have definitely been focusing on it for the last almost 10 years now. It's what almost got us into the Olympics last year. If you remember, in 2023, our women's senior team won the Africa Cup, and with that they managed to go into the Universality Olympic qualifiers in Japan. However, in Japan, things were a little bit tough for us, because that was the qualifier. That phase of Universality was actually all the winners of the cups globally. So the America Cup, Asia Cup, European Cup. So it was, to be honest, it was an Olympic of its own. And for us, we feel that with the type of players that we have, with the opportunity for young people, especially in universities across the country, this is the game that they would want to get into. 3x3 is the fastest growing sport right now globally, and it's the most watched sport globally. And we are glad that FIBA and IOC have decided to actually move the Olympic teams from 8 last year to 12 by early 2028. And for us, the focus really is to make sure that we get that spot for Africa in 2028. And that's our focus.
And as you look at 2028, a lot must be from the playing unit. Margaret, as the captain of the team, national team out in Benin, a lot of exposure, and coach says a very good individual performance from what they witnessed, and collectively even as a team. How is it like for you? Are you satisfied with the Benin championships?
I think we did well, but we could have done better. So most of the team was really made up of younger people who are new to the team. So I think they didn't really have much experience in playing the game and playing for the national team and playing outside the country. So that was maybe one of the factors. And going forward, I think if the same people keep training and keep going out for such outings, they'll get experience. And I think next year we'll do better, yeah.
And as we look at the same, Angie says you're looking at 2028 LA Games to bring in the punch, to also make sure that Kenya basketball is at the Olympics. Coach, when it comes to training for this, there are those basics that must be there, more so endurance, speed, decision making. How do you train them so that all these things just come instantly and at their fingertips?
We do have a season plan for 3x3. So we normally have all the plans, tactical, game management, individual tactics. So all those parameters play together during our session. And the players are committed. The good thing is that we do have monthly training sessions whereby we call all the players and we get them together. Remember, we also have some tournaments across the country whereby we make sure that all these players play together. So it is a system by system and they all go together.
As we put all this, we all know that at the base, or there must always be a very strong base, Angie. If we want to get the best at the top, we must make sure the base is good, which means focus on the youth. Next year we have the youth games happening in Senegal, Dakar, Senegal. Is it something that as Kenya Basketball Federation you would be looking at so that you have a youth team that you would be sending to Senegal to represent the country as we start building towards a stronger team to support Margaret and the rest come early 2028?
Definitely. It's something we're looking at. Last year we had the opportunity to send our under 16 boys to Dakar during the festival that was there in October, and our boys, young boys, managed to get silver, which was something that was really encouraging to see, given the fact that most of them had not played, actually that team had not played 3x3 before, but they had to get quick coaching, really quick coaching just towards the festival, and then they went for the festival and they were able to get silver. For us, that was very, very encouraging as a federation. That's what we're focusing on. We know that in the Youth Olympic Games, the target is the U16, and with us, we are already looking at the U16 and how we can ensure that they're ready for the Youth Olympics. And it's something that we're really looking forward to. Just out of that, really the reason our focus goes back to the under 23 and also under 21, which is coming up in August, the 3x3, is for us to be able to build that base for 2028. Remember when I've said that we are looking, our end goal, our long-term goal is 2028. We still have the African Games that will be there in 2027. We still have Commonwealth Games that will be coming up in 2026. We have the Youth Olympic Games that will be coming up in 2026. And right now we have the Africa School Games 3x3 that will be coming up also later this year. So all these are things that we're looking at using to build up for 2028, because we are saying that we want to be ready come 2028. We don't want to be trying to be ready. We want to be ready, and we want to have the right players at that time with the right age group also, because we realized in the last championship, one of the things that played against us was youth. We had a team, yes, it was a good team, but when you compared it to the rest of the teams, we realized that the other teams' average age was 27, 28. Our team was 30s and beyond. So we are saying, how do we then, we took a very deliberate attempt after last year's Japan universality and say that we are going younger. So this is the age groups that we are focusing on going into 2028. Yes, we'll still participate in the senior categories. That goes without saying, because we still need to earn points, because remember, all of this is about ranking also, and how many points you get towards your ranking to be able to participate even in upcoming championships. So that's how we are looking at it. And for them, it's also looking at how they can get to the World Cup under 23, which is coming up later on in the year in September.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot on your plate, Margaret. You know, as a student, you have all these you know, assignments that are coming up. You have the World Cup that's coming up later on in the year. You have the August Tony. There's so much that's happening. How do you manage to balance all these studies? Then, of course, you have all these national team assignments that, you know, call up and when duty calls, We just have to be there, but studies also must be, you know, something that we look at. How do you manage to balance up all this?
It's mostly about time management and just assigning tasks and doing things at their specific time. So if it's time to go for class, you just go for class. If it's time for training, you go for training. And in the evening, try as much as possible to finish your assignments and have enough rest preparing for the next day. Yeah.
The key point for me that I've taken there is have enough rest, because without rest, there can always be a burnout which can really affect you both either way from a school point of view and even when duty calls in terms of playing out there. You can just go out there and you don't deliver. Coach Tony, with all this that Angie has put up, as the technical bench supported by others, you must be coming up with a training program or a program that you're presenting to KBF that can you as a technical bench want as a roadmap towards the youth games. You have Commonwealth games coming, you have you know, African games that are coming up, but as all this is happening, remember we are in term 2. The Kenya Secondary School Games are also just starting, waiting for the nationals in August. So there is so much. As a technical bench, are you coming up with programs to ensure that you do not leave anything to chance to make sure that you get the best that can deliver the goods for Kenya?
The good thing is that our system is well structured. Like you've just said that school games are ongoing, and as technical bench, we'll go there and scout the players. We have various age groups. We have under 23, we have under 18 coaches, we have U23 coaches, we have senior coaches. So we work together so that we have a good program. And I will say that for us, it has been very, very successful in terms of scouting. It has given us a very good pathway to get the best players possible. Yes.
And Angie, as we get into this, the technical aspect of the game is critical. We have the Kenya Secondary School Games going on. Are we likely to see, if not now, probably in the future, where you bring the basketball teachers together to just get a coaching clinic so that the likes of Tony, the likes of Zadok, can come in and just let them know that these are the key things that you'll be looking at, because from a 3x3 point, we've clearly seen the federation really focusing, and we've seen the best of the ladies. When you look at the last Commonwealth Games, the way the team pushed, the Benin Games that have just come up, both boys and girls, you clearly can tell that if we focus on the youth, then LA 2028 will be a dream that can be achieved. Like Lupita Nyong'o says, the dream can be valid.
Yes, we're looking at that, and we already started, not just looking at it. In April, we held the first ever 3x3 Light Quest in Africa, and in Mombasa. And with that, we also held a coaching clinic for beginners. We had over 50 coaches that were coached. And what we have done with FIBA Africa also is we have engaged them to make sure that we have not only are they coming here to do coaching clinics, but we now have coaching instructors that they have identified within Kenya, and now we are building a program that they can then be able to cascade the valuable learnings across the different sectors, and especially in the secondary schools, so that then the kids are getting the right the coaches first are getting the right capacity and capabilities to be able to cascade downwards to the players. So we now have 2 identified instructors of 3x3 coaching and refereeing also. So we are looking at all that and trying to put all of this together. So with that capability, we are working very closely with FIBA Africa 3x3 office to just make sure that we are getting the right people in those right spaces.
Interesting indeed, because that is where the focus is in terms of getting it right from the grassroots going up. Then the likes of Tony will not have a very difficult work of starting to learn or starting to put in the basics. They'll just be putting the game plan, the strategies, etc. Let's engage Margaret. And Margaret, where do you see yourself from a basketball point in the next, say, couple of years to come? Because there is a lady right now looking at you on TV and saying, wow, when I grow up, I would like to be like Margaret. Where do you see yourself?
I see myself playing for the national team. The Lionesses hopefully will make it to the Afrobasket because it's something that we've tried achieving and we've not made it. So hopefully in the next tournament, when we go for the qualifiers, we'll make it. So I'd say that is the first one of my dreams. I'd say that's one of them. And then also playing in the Commonwealth is another one. I think it's a very good platform to actually go out there and see and compete against the greatest talents in the world. And hopefully again playing in the Olympics because that is just the biggest platform. Yeah.
You want to be an Olympian?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Why
achievable. Why? Why not? The likes of Angie never made it, but you guys can make it. You know, shots fired.
Why not?
Why
I know.
not? I like that. Tony, if you have players who already have such dreams, they are looking at the Commonwealth game, their plate is already so full with ambitions. How do you help them to achieve these ambitions?
One of the areas that as coaches we are going to look at is improving on their tactical aspect and supporting them in any area possible. We have a very young team, talented players that want to have points, and remember 3x3 is all about individual rankings, getting more points as possible, and we'll try as much as possible to give them the skills that they need. And for me, we believe that is achievable in terms of, I'll give the, for example, she just played for Nations League last year, this year Nations League. Hopefully she'll be in World Cup. So it's a progressive plan for us to offer them the support and the technical aspect.
As you offer the technical support, a lot needs to be put. And Angie, we've seen this with Kenya Basketball Federation, as in the 3x3 teams are so exposed. It's like there is no 3x3 tournament or a championship that happens across Africa or the world that you as Kenya Basketball Federation will fail to at least send a team to participate. What's the main idea behind all this?
Like we said, it's about ranking and it's about accumulation of points. Because just like rugby sevens, 3x3 is about accumulating points. So first there's players accumulating points, and then the country accumulating points. And that builds up to your ranking and to your qualification into certain championships. So certain championships you cannot play if you've not achieved a certain ranking. And then secondly, when it comes to, like for example, Olympic qualification, you cannot play players who are not, for example, in your top 50 in ranking, or they're not at a certain level in ranking. So we have to keep giving the players that opportunity to get and to build up their ranking, because their ranking also accumulates towards whether they can be able to play in certain championships. And that's why we are trying as much as possible to expose them and to give them that platform and opportunity. And then looking at it also just from our past experience, when we were in Japan, we realized we're playing teams like Canada, teams like France. They had played more than 300 games. We had played, give or take, maybe 30 to 40 games, 50 at most. So coming from the African continent, where you get, we're not able to go for example, the women's series that is played across the European countries and Asia and China. We have to try as much as possible to catch up, because we're playing a game of catch up. These are players that are playing every weekend. They're in a championship somewhere. They're either on a plane in Germany, in Poland, in Paris, in where, and they're playing. They've played more than 300 games. Fortunately for them, they also have the opportunity to have pro teams that can just be playing 3x3 all these years. while we don't have that. And that's why we really have to push it to make sure that our players can be able to participate in whatever championships that are coming up.
As we do this, Angie, are you satisfied with the current ranking or the number of points, or we need as many more, going into the future?
No, we need many more. We need many more. We had a bit of a dip last year because last year's Nations League, which was supposed to be in Kenya, didn't happen because of the riots. And so when we didn't participate in that Nations League, much as we got the opportunity to go to the World Cup on a wild card, we still lost points because then we didn't play almost, those were 6 stops, which both our men and ladies didn't play in. So we lost points, and we're trying to do catch-up right now. So we are looking out there to see if we can get sponsors that can specifically support our 3x3 teams. Then we can be able to take them to the World Series and to the Challenger Series out in Europe and Asia and the Americas, so that then they get more and more exposure and get more and more ranking.
And as we do that, we get more rankings, we get more, up there. Margaret, you've played in many major, tournaments, represented the country. There are times Kenya has come that close, to getting to the top, but we fail at the last minute, just when everybody thought that, oh, this time round we are getting it. What are some of those areas that you feel that as a country or as a team we need to improve on so that we can go that extra mile? Like, for example, the Benin Championship.
Okay, so I'd say we're doing our best. We're really trying. We're in a good place. So just as the SG has said, we are trying to focus on majorly the younger people. So, for example, this time, the team had like so many young people, and it's something we're building on. So it's a good thing that the team has younger people. So building up to that, if they keep training, if they keep playing, I think it's something that is going to actually contribute positively to the team. So if we keep on bringing fresh talent, younger people to the team, I think it's something that is going to impact the team positively.
As we look at that, coach, how do we now get it? Because we always come that close. There is so much talkability, almost there, then somehow we lose maybe when we are getting to the semi-final or we are getting to the final when there is so much hope. From a technical point of view, what do you think we need to do? Is it to just work on their mental strength? Is it to maybe work on the strategy in terms of game management? What do we need to do?
Both parameters play a big role. For example, when you play in the Nations League, it's 6 stop. Each stop is a different tournament, and it really requires mental toughness, tactical element, skills, decision making, endurance. All parameters play together, something that we as the technical bench we've been working on, and it's achievable. From this championship, we had prepared the players, all those parameters, and they really did well. Did well such a way that if you look at the individual ranking, we're almost now topping the scorers chart. Yes.
Angie, a lot needs to be done, but there is so much that we are doing. We've seen Nairobi City Thunder go, represent the country, which means the basketball vibe is still very, active, very live in the country. How do we maintain the same? She's mentioned AfroBasket. They want to be there. I know a couple of years back, we were there, with the team. I remember yourself. I remember Sly. How do we get back there?
I think all is not lost, to be honest. Sometimes when you try to get the balance, some areas can go down as other areas come up. And our 5-on-5 might not be exactly where we would want it to be. But I think if we keep focusing on it and keep bringing in new talents and new players, we're going to get to where we want to be. The level of exposure is obviously one of the areas that we really need to assist our players with. physical fitness and physical, strength is something else that we obviously need to focus on. We've seen from just coming back to participate in the under 16 and under 18 championships last year, that has already given us a very wide pool of players that we know now going from under 16 into under 18 into under 21, we can pick out players. And as a federation, creating also that database and ensuring that, one, the coaches are working together. All the national team coaches these days work together from the under 16, under 18, under 21, so that they're also assisting each other in terms of the type of philosophies that they want to build into the future, is really helping. So we've been trying to put those structures in place, and now we are beginning to see some of the fruits. For 3x3, it's working right. For 5-on-5, we are going back to the drawing board and asking ourselves, what more do we need to do? How do we need to tweak what we have been doing to make it now better? And you'll be seeing some changes in the coming months on our 5-on-5 teams, with focus on our 5-on-5 teams. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Angie. Thank you very much, Margaret. Thank you very much, Tony. Tony, I know we have an assignment. We need to be somewhere in the next few, so allow me to, to just thank you all for making time to be with us this afternoon. Angie, wishing you all the best.
Thank
Maggie,
you.
wishing you all the best. Your plate is full. It can be done. Tony, all the best with the technical arm of it. That has been a discussion with the Kenya Basketball Federation team. Angela Luchivia, Secretary General. We had the captain under 23 with us in studio, or 3x3. Then, of course, Coach Tony from Strathmore, also coach of the national under 23 team.